listening to a lot of motivational speakers, rather sharing their experiences, decision making, leadership, everything is almost covered. And in the beginning, when I was asked to talk about education, I was just wondering, these are all engineering students who are going to be there. And they've already decided about a career that they would like to take. And let us actually look at what kind of advice, we educationists, so-called, experienced people, we have got our own way of thinking. And, most of the times we start feeling what we are doing is the right thing. And then that makes the lives of students miserable. And that is what is happening in Indian education system today. So I thought of actually sharing my experience as everybody has done. I've been in the field of education for 31 years now, starting from K-12 level to, I was actually the regional director for MBA colleges. So I have seen all kinds of parents. So I will share some of my experiences in this journey with you guys. I hope you will understand where I'm coming from. Yeah. Now, when we talk about education as a whole, Indian education in today's context, what exactly we are doing, I will be basing all my talk on some facts and figures which I want to give you. The first governing factors is parental aspirations. You think of an Indian parent. Normally what happens is all of us start living our dreams through our children. I'm including myself here. What happens, I've been wanting to become something, or my parents wanted me to become something, and that automatically percolates in my thought process. And as soon as the child is born in the family, I expect him to become what I wanted to become, and I did not become. Yeah, this has become a common thing. Under this, I put it under three categories. I will say that in life, if anybody expects anything genuinely, extremely good, it will be only the parents. They'll never think of doing anything that will harm the kids at any point in time. They'll do anything for you. They are the ones who can take right decisions. Now, one category of parents who are here, who are well established, they've really done well for their lives. They're doctors, architects, business people who have set up a lot of empires for yourself, and they'll be looking at their children taking over. Many of the times they would come and talk to me. I've been counseling since 25 years. So the first question is that, ma'am, I have only one child, son, daughter, whatever it is. I have built up this whole empire. He doesn't have to work for his life. All he has to do is to do his medicine, architecture, business, or MBA, whatever it is. Come and sit here, that's it. Everything will learn. So these are the people who have already decided for the children. And the child looks at me and says, I'm not going to do this. I have seen both my parents working so hard. They hardly had time for the family. I was always with my grandparents or a nanny or somebody, and I don't want to live that kind of life. I want time for myself and my family, my wife, my kids. I'm very sure of that. I don't want to do this. But then, you just cannot judge what is going to be right or wrong. And the children end up thinking that I'm obligated to my parents because they've been taking care of me and I don't want to hurt their feelings. And finally, you see 90% of Indian kids choosing this career because they don't want to hurt their feelings. It can be grandparents, it can be anybody for that matter. This is the truth. I can give you the statistics. You end up taking the career that your parents actually like you to do. The second thing that we are looking at, second group of parents who come here, are the ones who have been unfortunate. Whatever is the reason, it could be socio-economic, it could be any reason for that matter, but they could never do what they wanted to do. So they have really worked hard, sacrificed everything that they have for the studies of the children. They have paid in money, they have done everything. 90% of their earning has gone to the child's study. Now they want the child to become either a doctor, engineer, IAS officer, IPS officer, something that they have been dreaming of at any point in time. Does the child have any choice here? No, you look back. The parent has completely sacrificed everything that they had for the career of the child. This is the second kind of parent system that we have, that is aspirations that we have. Now the third group of parents are of a different kind. You can just imagine somebody who has gone and settled in US in 1950s, 60s. They come back to India And they still feel that India is there in 1950s and 60s, and our schools and colleges are still doing the same thing what they were doing at that time. And they will never accept that we have progressed. Now, these are the people with one leg in the old boat and one in the new boat. So they come and tell me, I'm telling you real instances. The person is working in IBM as a VP. He comes and tells me, ma'am, this girl doesn't understand. When she was born in this particular star. And the Jyotishi told me that she's definitely going to be an excellent mathematician. Can you believe it? He is in one of the best companies wherein he's actually running the company, so to say, and still believes that whatever that Jyotishi wrote in that paper is going to be true for his child. And the child says, ma'am, in the entrance exam, I'm not going to answer any of the questions in mathematics so that I'll not get a seat. Yeah, this is this second kind of or third kind of people who are going to be there. But whatever said and done, end of the day, what happens? What you see in the family, the talk keeps on going. As Santosh said in the morning, whatever the teacher said that you're good in mathematics got imprinted. 1,001 times there is a repetition in the family saying she's going to be a doctor, she's going to be an engineer. Automatically, the child's mind starts thinking in those ways. And you start deciding not because you like something, but because you're being told that this is going to be good for you. This is the sad situation of Indian system. Now comes socio-economic conditions. A couple of them that I would like to say is, one is money, definitely. Because a parent who is, I would say, entrepreneur and set up something, has got a lot of money. So he will be able to actually pay the amount that is required and buy a seat for the child and ensure that this child can do whatever he wants. Now the second kind of thing is going to be about reservation. I don't want to get into that, but I have seen kids with a 10 marks difference in the MD entrance examination getting a seat just because they come from Hyderabad, Karnataka region. There's nothing else. It's just that they were lucky to study in those colleges and they got the seats, wherein 0.01 marks is going to matter for you in that matrix that comes. Initially, it used to be KSET, now it is going to be NEET. Now, this is what is going to decide your career, but the child wants to do that. Now, that is another condition that's going to be there. And the peer pressure. And when we say peer pressure, I'm not comparing two children, it could be siblings also. See, your sister or brother has been doing so well. She has got a seat in medicine or IIT, whatever it is going to be. But you're good for nothing. There's a comparison that comes. Because they did so, I will have to do the same thing, whether I like it or not. This is another pressure that is going to come in. And overall, the whole education system to blame. We're still in those old thought process wherein we feel whatever is in the textbook is going to decide our career in the examinations. And the marks is everything that we are going to do. Unfortunately, that is what is the expectation. The parents are fine if the child is playing around, learning everything, doing everything that they want till grade 7. When they come to grade 8, you should see the tension that moves. And all of you have gone through recently, the 9th and 10th is the terrible time. I'll tell you, it's like that Indo-Pak war. Yeah? It's exactly the same feeling, both for the parents. I see my teachers coming and telling me, ma'am, I need 2 years break. My son has come to grade 10. Now I'll have to sit with him and then concentrate on what he wants to do for the future. Sad reality, but this is what is determining everything that we do in India. Sorry. Now what happens? With all these things, we come to the university. Yeah? We have taken up a course. We have taken up a job, whatever it is. You come here, you just Google. When you go home, go out of this, just Google, just put university makes me, you get these things. Mostly searched for. You see that it makes me cry, anxious, feel stupid, like a failure, miserable, angry, whatnot. There's nothing positive that comes out. Which means that once you get into a course which you don't like, okay, you definitely will not feel happy. Probably you're not good at what you're doing, or you're not interested in what you're doing, or you've been forced. That feeling will always be there. I have taken this. because you wanted me to do it. So what happens? You will never enjoy the course that you are doing it. This is the sad reality that's going to be there. Now, when you look at the jobs, it says the statistics actually says that it's going to be 6 people out of 10 are always looking out for the change in the job. Imagine the kind of situation that's going to be. Now, let's look at some positive factors that are going to be there. I spoke about how we select our choices of jobs and careers. But when you look at what the statistics says, 40% of the Indians are below the age of 18. And this we call it as demographic division. See, when you look at it, a decade back, we used to call this population explosion. And we actually used to see how are we going to provide for these people. But today, we say that we are sitting on a golden mine, which is true because India is going to be the youngest country with this kind of human resource available for them to rule the world. And our kids are the best. I'm not saying because I'm speaking in this forum, but I'll tell you Indian soldiers and Indian students are the best suited for hard work and achieving the goal. This is what has been proven everywhere. You think of mathematics, every country thinks of us. You think of logic, everybody thinks of us. You think of values, everybody thinks of us. India should be proud that we have all these things, but are we actually using it to ensure that we actually enhance the capabilities of the gold mine on which we are sitting? That is the question that we need to. 265 million children are in school, and then 800 universities, 51,000 colleges, 35 million smaller organizations, they are going to be there. 35 million children are there in the college. India has the largest university system in the world put together. 8 million graduates every year. You don't have any of these statistics anywhere in the world. Let us look at other statistics. Look at China. Here we are going to talk about STEM graduates alone. Science, technology, engineering, and mathematics graduates. You have this is not my statistics. It is the statistics given by Forbes. You look at 4.7 million people graduating from China, India 2.6, and all other countries put together will be Indian count. That is the kind of science graduates who are coming in. Where will you find the jobs? It's not the question of getting Indian graduates into science and technology, but are we prepared to give them a job that suits their abilities? This is what we are looking into. And sometimes I feel very sad because in one of the forums when we were making the textbooks, one of the professors from engineering college told me, floppy disks have gone long away. But then to eject that floppy disk from the textbook, it took me 5 years to write to the board and take it out. What we are teaching today is half of it is obsolete. And it's so difficult in this kind of system wherein the content that is obsolete has to be moved out. And we still go on teaching that. Tell the students, this is obsolete, but it will come for the exam. You better be prepared for it. That's the sad part of it. The difference between Indian universities and foreign universities in terms of ranking, I'm not talking about capabilities here. I'm talking about ranking, is that in case of ranking, they take 2 things into consideration before they assign marks. One is outreach. What are the kinds of outreach programs these universities are doing? And the second is research. But unfortunately in India, when we got independence, we started our university system. The research as well as academics were separated by people who were there. You had one set of universities coming up with lot of teaching and academic vigor, and the other one like CSIR, DRDO, who were there only for research. And there was never a connect between these two. That is the only reason our universities do not rank on top, not because they're not capable of teaching. Just look at this data. In the Global Innovation Index, I'm trying to talk only about 4-5 years. In 2015, we were at 81, and today in the index we are at 57. So you can see that in the universities, in colleges, schools, there is an encouragement towards discovery that is coming in, and you can definitely be aware that we are moving towards progress, and in no time we'll fill the gap if all of you are going to be bent on doing research and doing things on your own and not looking only at marks. Now you look at the data. I've just put the data that is available in all the leading journals and newspapers. Indian students in the US are about 1,85,000 doing STEM. It can be science, engineering, whatever kind of degree that they're doing. We have about 1.85, that is 1,85,000. Out of which about 1 lakh are in the wonderful or acclaimed universities. If Indian system was bad, do you think our children would have made it there? Definitely not. Which means our universities are extremely good at teaching, but end result is that we are not getting enough exposure for research. Now, some of the facts that really make us pause is the literacy rate. I'll show you that slide before we go. Now, in 1951, we were at about 27% of literacy. Whereas today in 2011, this is the data that is available, we have come up to 83. And today, as it stands, it's more than 90% of literacy rates that India has achieved. So when you're looking at it, this makes us really, really proud that we've been able to do that. The scale, you saw how many universities and how many children are graduating. Moving up the ladder in innovation index, we saw that it has come to 57 now. And creation of jobs, I definitely say that everybody is earnestly trying at least to create jobs for the current students. So all these are things that we have to look up to, and we see that it's going to be definitely green for you. The future is definitely going to be green for you, and there's a lot of hope. You don't have to lose hope in saying that, okay, people are saying that 13% to 26% are employable. Nothing. Don't listen to anything. Do what you're doing perfectly, and there's a lot of hope. Now, there are some of aspirations as an educationist that I would like to put across. Bringing in adequate changes in the current education system. India is a vast country. It's a huge country wherein we need to look at the possibilities of how to make education accessible to everybody. I always see that there is a possibility. Imagine how the mobile came. When the mobile came, as somebody was pointing out, it came in 1997 probably, and people thought, I saw the mobile in Neeta Ambani's hand for the first time. I was working for her. And when I looked at the mobile, I always thought this is a rich man's toy. So we won't be able to do it. Today, inside the villages, everybody has got a mobile. And they know how to use it. And you have a TV in every house, in every village. If these media can be used for educating people, there is always a possibility. Education need not be restricted only to school and college buildings. It should be given as you send your WhatsApp forwards. There should be a possibility to send lessons. All the soaps and the serials that talk about mother-in-law, daughter-in-law issues should be talking only about how to educate and make those people who learn as heroes. That is the change that we are looking at. Job creation and need analysis. What kind of jobs we have, what kind of jobs we require. Strong guidance and counseling cell in every institution, may it be a school, may it be a college, wherein the child is made to aware that you don't have to follow what somebody has to say. What are you good at? What is your academic qualification? What is the marks that you are getting? What are your interests? As somebody put it, what is your value system? Is it going to be your choice? Exactly what you spoke of, how to make a choice. You need to have your interest, ability, aptitude, and marks all put together. And the guidance and counselor has to sit with you and then say, probably these are the opportunities that you can look at without getting biased by anybody coming and suggesting that you need to do this. If that can be done in every institution, children will be able to make better choices and will get into something that they like. After that, they don't have to work. Life becomes fun for them because they do what they like. Self-confidence is one of the things that our children need to have. You guys need to be very, very self-confident, and then you need to actually look at the possibilities that are going to be there. Before I close, I just want to say that, as I told before, you are the people who can take pressure. You are made in such a way, Indian education has made you in such a way that you can work for 24 hours during exams. How many of you don't? Of course, in the remaining time you may not, But during the examination, you get that strength. You have the willpower. So you need to be confident of yourself. Make choices for yourself. Don't make the choice for your wife, your husband, your father, your mother. No. The choice has to be made by you, and you can always convince others saying that this is my choice and I'll put in my 100%. Nobody is going to talk anything or, contradict anything. And you are not here to please anybody. You are here to ensure that your interest is taken care of and you put in your best efforts. And you young people, I'm very, very sure that you'll make all of us proud. It's just going to be another decade, and we'll be looking at India ruling the world in the very sense of the word. I'm very, very sure that you'll do good. Thank you so much.